Pretty good. Pretty good.
It's just first off, Alex, just when Link told you, obviously we saw the video of him letting you know you won the ACC Player of the Year and Defender of the Year. Just what did that mean to you, and how excited were you to hear that?
It meant a ton to me. Um, it kind of just it was kind of a moment where like the hard work almost paid off, and it made me realize from coming from UNF to being the ACC Player of the Year is a pretty big jump. Um, and it was just like a surreal moment. It was just amazing.
Alex,
I
can you
guess
walk us kind of back through, I guess, your decision to ultimately enter the transfer portal, picking Florida State? How much of it was just what this program was? How much of it was the vision that Link kind of laid out before you? And what was that vision?
I mean, the vision was to go to Omaha. And he told me the playing time was a major factor. And I mean, it's FSU, like it's the most prestigious college program in the country, and I think that was a huge factor. And when I pretty much found out that I could have a chance to go play at FSU, it was kind of a no brainer. But Link was very big in that decision and what he had told us how we were going to play and how far we were going to go and how much he believed in everyone just kind of like made the decision super easy.
I guess is there did you enter this season or maybe even enter your time at FSU with kind of a list of goals? Is this something you hoped or dreamed you could ever accomplish? I guess or anything like that?
Yeah, so this year I actually wanted to be the defensive player of the year. That was my goal since Honeycutt's gone. Um, and then I wanted to be the first team shortstop. That was my two goals. So yeah.
How much I mean, not to take away at all from you, you've made some spectacular plays. How important has Link been in making you the defender you are and become? I mean, how cool is it to be the first Seminole to win Defensive Player of the Year?
I mean, he's been in a massive part. Um, he's taught me pretty much everything I know now about defense and going to my left, going to my right, the game clock, setting my feet on stuff that I would always throw on the run and throw up the line probably, but it's just he's changed how I play defense and changed it in an amazing way. And I mean, I couldn't thank him anymore for it. Um, but yeah.
What
Alex, with
You're good, Liam. Go ahead, man.
I think he froze.
Yeah, I think he's. Go ahead, Ansel.
Oh, I thought I froze up there for a second too. Alex, I guess what was your mindset though? I mean, I know you seem like a really humble guy and you want to work hard, but like, did you realize there was this much to learn about playing shortstop at the highest level? Did you kind of show up thinking you were mostly a finished product, or did you think like I can't wait to have this guy like Link Jarrett like figure everything out for me and let me know how to really play this game at the best level?
Yeah, I mean, I had been a good defender my whole life, really. In UNF, I kind of had a rough year, but I thought I was still a great defender. And I did not realize how much more there was to it when I got here. And I get in here and he's starting to tell me all this stuff. I'm like, wow, there is a whole lot I've got to learn and get good at. Um, so it kind of just opened up a whole new like part of defense that I had no clue was even a thing in a sense. And so it was pretty, I had to make a pretty big adjustment, honestly, from what I thought.
just how's it been being the captain this year? I guess how have you kind of evolved into that role, and how would you describe yourself as a captain? I guess.
Yeah, I mean, it's an honor. To be selected by the players is kind of what makes it so cool. And I just try to be my best in helping everyone do whatever they need. Um, if someone needs extra, like if someone's trying to find time to get extra reps, like try to help them out. If someone's got questions, like I kind of understand what the coaches think and what they want in a sense sometimes. And so I try to help them out the best I can. And with defense, I try to help Carter and Chef and all them. Cal was trying to learn third base this year, and he was just like, "Man, I haven't played much third base. This is whole new to me." So you just trying to help the best way I can. I'm not trying to be like a loud mouthy, like yell at people to do this and that. I'm just trying to be helpful and almost make people as much of a better player as much as I can.
How do you kind of develop that, I guess, style, for lack of a better word, Alex? Like, what made you want to lead the way you kind of lead? What shaped you in that way?
Yeah, I think I realized that I'm not like a super outgoing, loud person. And that kind of just led me in the direction of, well, I can be helpful. I can still be helpful in a sense of trying to help the young kids learn a little bit more about the coaches and what they like to do. And I think that's part of what like went into my decision. I realized I'm like, I kind of understand what the coaches got going on, and they'll ask me, they'll be like, "Oh, is he like, if I did this, would he be okay with it?" And sometimes they're like, "Eh, he probably would rather you do this." So
I guess a little bit back to the earlier part of the interview, Alex, but like, when did you know you kind of had this maybe in you to have this huge of a jump? Every coach we'll talk to Link, and I'm sure he was expecting you to make progress from last year to this year, but just the exponential kind of growth that you made. I mean, did you go into the offseason knowing you had all this in you, or did you just kind of let it play out and here you find yourself with all these accolades?
going into this winter, I knew I could be good and be like an early hitter in this offense. And coming into the preseason, I think that's where I kind of showed that I could do it, and that's where I gained all my confidence. The preseason was the best I've ever hit in my life. I think I hit better in the preseason than I'm hitting right now in the actual season. And so that's where I kind of was like, all right, I can do it. Like I just got to stretch it through the entire 250 at bats you get in the season. And so I just tried to drag the confidence along with me as much as I possibly could.
How cool is it that you've gone back to back with James with ACC Player of the Year, and have you kind of still been able to keep in touch with him throughout the season and lean on him for some advice?
Yeah, I actually he texted me after I won it and he said, "Your face is stuck to mine for the rest of the time now, bud." Um, but he on on Friday after we lost, he talked to me and we talked over the phone a lot and we were talking about swing and stuff. And he was helping me with staying through the inside pitch because man, they've been pounding me in and I just keep fouling them off. And first pitch, I kept one fair down the line. So I've tried to stay in touch with him and Cam and all those guys as much as I possibly can.
This week, obviously, Alex, goal is to win as many games as you can up there. Say that in a more eloquent way, I guess, for us. I guess just how important is it for you guys to really do well up there, and how much are you thinking about trying to lock up a top 8 national seed?
Um, I mean, it's definitely in the back of the mind. Um, but I think it's really, I mean, this is a cool experience. You get to come play in a double A ballpark and it's all about you guys. And I think you just want to come up here and win games. Link always talks about game by game and then worry about what comes next. And I think if we do what we need to do and play the way we need to play, everything will work out. But yeah, we just gotta play. We just gotta win one and then win the third, hopefully. But I mean, yeah, we just gotta go play good ball and we'll be all right.
I think so.
Yes.
Live from the Research Triangle, it's the ACC Tournament. We play Friday. We got here Monday.
I'm keeping that,
Recording
Coach. I'm
in
not clipping
progress.
that off.
I was a color commentator back when color commentating meant you were live TV only. You know that.
Sunshine Network, baby.
Yeah, it was terrible. I got the 2026 schedule. Somebody dropped me the other day, so I had to reboot that one. So we finally fixed that last night. The 2027 schedule is basically done. Now the 2028. We had a emergency the last couple of days.
Is this
So
what happens when you get stuck in a hotel room for a couple days?
like this is the baseball and the games and the talk about the games and the players. This scheduling stuff, if I don't stay ahead of that, you get in so much trouble. The recruiting never stops, but when you have this little gap, you have to get into other parts of the job. The stuff at the facility that we're trying to pull off, you have to jump into some of the other things or you can't finish it. And you get stuck, you get behind. So part of it is beyond like who to pitch or who's playing or what's going on at the tournament today or what time. You have to run the other parts of the program so you can function. It's and this little gap, like this is the first time you've had a breather to do some of these things. And I'm responsible for more than just whether we turn the double play or not. It's so I had to fix a schedule. I had a team cancel on me a front end weekend, and it's hard to fill that. I try to stay 3 years ahead with the weekends, and when somebody cancels on you, like for next year, like that's a scramble. So anyway, got that done last night.
Alex Lodise, Coach. Back-to-back players for you at Florida State have an ACC Player of the Year. Can you kind of walk us back to recruiting him out of the transfer portal, what you saw in him, the vision you kind of laid down before him, and what you think about that young man now?
Well, the era we're in, you have the opportunity to acquire transfers, and the players have the opportunity to try to maneuver and find the spot that fits them. And when I saw him play, you could see the strength, you could see the ranginess, you could see the athleticism. He was a freshman. Any freshman has some work to do to mature and figure out the game, the details of the game, and I could tell that was the case with him. We were very short in the middle infield, and when you're able to grab Drew Farrow and Lodise and inject that kind of physical upside into the program, it's fun as the infield coach to know that you have those type of athletes to work with every single day. And then you try to find the mechanisms that allows them to solidify themselves at a specific position. And both of them played shortstop in the fall, both falls really. And Alex matured and mastered it. And I thought Farrow at second base, the ability to turn the double play and the things he does laterally so well, it just seemed like it fit. And they both seemed comfortable at those spots, and off we went. To Lodise, the application of training principles in game settings is what I saw the biggest strides with. The understanding of how to use your feet to make the throws, the game clock, how much time you have to deliver the ball, when you have to come get it, when you can field it in a more traditional manner, when you get around the ball to your right, when you actually have to backhand the ball to your right. You could see him take the things we work on in practice and actually put it into the game. And that's fun for me because it doesn't always go that way. Like you have to take and have the feel for the game and take it into the game and on the stage he's on to apply it. It just says a lot about his mindset and toughness to take those things into the competition at this level and clearly beyond. He's positioned himself for longevity in the game. Offensively, some very minor swing modifications, just minor stuff. He was a little scoopy and maybe a little lifty when he got here, and just slowly through the drills and the training that we do, we're not trying to reinvent everybody's swing, but I think from a swing perspective, everybody has certain things that they need to try to work on. And that holds true in the major leagues. Those guys find little drills and things that they like to do, routines that get them in the right position. And then the work we do in the cages and our assistant coaches, how hard they work with the video and our players receive information after every game. We now have the ability, they get a document that shows them the pitches they swung at, the locations of those pitches. So again, the information these guys have is really cool, but you have to take that information and the things you learn and apply it in the game. And he's done it, and he's physically gotten stronger. He understands himself, management of the at-bat. I think the pitch selection has gotten better, and that leads you to the point of this could be the best baseball player in the country. Probably is. I do a poor job of assessing everybody else in the country and trying to compare. I know he's spectacular. The consistency defensively, the delivery offensively, some of the moments, the use of the field, the power. It's as good as I've seen.
This is such a unique week where you could play kind of a full weekend. You could just play one game. Obviously, turning the page to regional, how do you approach the rotation this weekend? How do you, when you only guaranteed one game, how do you go in?
Well, I think we want to see who we play and go from there. Like we're not ready. Mike and I met this morning and we talked about it, and we're on hold a little bit. And that is a luxury that we have of being in the position we're in. We get to assess what's going on. And we have really all three, quite frankly, of our starting pitchers are in play to start the game. And, you know, when you look ahead, you want to make sure you're aligning things for the following weekend too. So you keep the regional round in mind as you look at who you would throw and how much they would throw in this tournament. But quite frankly, we're not there yet. We do have a lot of good options. I do think all three of our guys are available if we chose to start Jamie or Joey or Wes in the Friday game. I think all of that is in play, and that's a pretty neat luxury. And the bullpen is rested. The format of the tournament, when we decided as coaches that we wanted to bring all the teams, a secondary piece was we needed to protect the teams that had the better ACC regular seasons. And I think that's exactly what happened. And then the other teams have to work their way through it, and you're rewarding the teams that finished higher by resting the pitching. And so we just have to see. None of us have been through this. So we're taking it in a little bit and thinking through what's best. I don't have an answer. The luxury is really all three of our starters could throw on Friday.
The way Wes has thrown the last 2 weeks, how much confidence has that given you guys in what he can do for you in postseason?
Yeah, that last start, that was huge. To think that you've played all these games and it comes down to the last game and the last inning and the last pitch of the last game, and that was his best start. His stuff was as loud as I've seen it. The fastball itself was really good. The other pitches were good. He's maturing. You groom these guys to try to be starters and get better as they go. I think that's what he's done. And the work with Micah and Jamie and Phil and creating the complete picture, you're seeing it. And there's a lot more to come for him as we look to the postseason and into next year. but it's great. You want to see these guys getting a little bit better as we go. Joey nor Wes had really ever pressed the envelope of the workload that we've seen. I think Wes has handled it a little better than Joey. Joey was coming off injury. So having this week and this time to figure out what's best and who to use and who needs rest and how much we want to throw somebody, that's the unique nature of this tournament, but it's also the luxury of being in the position we're in. But I could not be happier with how Wes has grown. The strike throwing has gotten better. I think the disguising of the secondary pitches has continued to come along a little bit. And, he's a really good athlete. So, you're getting some things that come up out there on the mound that he can handle just because of his athleticism. So I'm really, really happy with where he is.
I think it was only 15 pitches or so, but the way that Holt spun the breaking ball in those 15 pitches or so, just how good was that to see?
Great. Thought it was better than before he got hurt. We need him. And you look at last year and the way this thing played out, he was a huge part of it. And we need that. Like, we need him. We need the left on left. Our starters clearly left-handed, but then we get a little right-handed heavy out of the bullpen. So having him back and confident and spinning it, and there's enough life on the fastball that's in play too, it sure does help.
Like, what have you kind of thought about Jackson West's performance of late? What keeps you still optimistic that things are on the horizon for him to maybe kind of have a breakout, I guess, in this part of the season?
When you have a player that delivered for you down the stretch when it really mattered the most, regional, super regional, Omaha, I hold on to that. And programmatically, that mattered to me a lot. He's had a string of tough luck. I can't answer why that is. The line outs and the quality of the contact and some of the really good at-bats have not resulted in much for him. You guys know it. You ask me about it every week. I think he actually caught really well this past weekend. Why the line drives and the balls in the gap are not landing for him and some of the other things. I wish I could tell you. Maybe things pivot at some point, but he does find a way on base. I think the timeliness, like last year, there were things that he did that absolutely delivered for us at critical moments. And I hang on to what some of those guys did for us that put us in a position to be in Omaha and perform in Omaha. And he was one of them. I do think he is caught better. I think he's blocked a little bit better as of late. I think the receiving is just fine. He brings some energy and some scrappiness and some fight. So that's where he is. And you have Carnes who's coming, and Nate clearly can handle himself just fine. So we're okay. Jackson, why it hasn't gone better, like offensively, I wish I could tell you. I probably more lineouts and more quality at bats than anybody with little result, and that's unfortunately part of it.
How much of that is like a player's mentality, Link? I mean, I don't know if you had a similar kind of story in your career, but just the fact, I think any kind of maybe high school family who listens to this interview and hears that like you're sticking with Jackson because of what he did for you last year and how pivotal he was. I guess just how much of the ball player in you is what kind of informs that opinion and that strategy.
Well, probably a lot. I think he's done fine catching for us. I do. I think the quality of the at-bat has been better than the result of the batting average and the extra base hit. And I know what it is. Like, I know that the extra base hit's not in play, but the on base, and when you have a capable 1-2 in the order, that the ability of your 8 and 9 guys to find ways on base, it does give those guys a chance. I mean, Gage and Lodise, the chances of their first at bat giving them RBI opportunities are very rare, right? But if you get into the game a little bit and you have a guy that's got a good on base percentage at the bottom that gives you a good at bat and see some pitches, it does help. So I've been through crap like that, like he's gone through. And there are parts of his game that needed to be better. But I do remember and recognize what he did for us when it mattered most. And I think there are some good things coming for him. And it is a left-handed bat, and he does match up with some of the guys that we've seen lately. And I think that's fair. And the other two guys are very capable. But he has done some things to help us.
All right, we'll see you at
Appreciate it.
Mountains on Monday, Coach. Best of luck up there.
Thank you.
Thanks, Coach.